Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. This is our take. We are your hosts. I'm Ocean.
I'm Connor.
I'm Zach.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the final episode in a series that we've been putting on for the last 4 weeks of the Democratic series, per Connor's delineation. But you guys voted on a bunch of movies that we put out to you guys on polls on Instagram, voted on the movies that you wanted to see us cover. We watched them, and over the past 4 weeks, we have been giving you guys our take on the 4 movies. For a quick recap, week 1, we covered a movie titled The Taking of Pelham 123, starring John Travolta and Denzel Washington. Week 2, we covered a movie called The Nice Guys, starring Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. Week 3, last week's episode, we covered a movie called How It Ends, starring Forrest Whitaker and Theo James. And this week, ladies and gentlemen, for our 4th and final episode in this series, we are going to be giving you guys our take on DreamWorks Pictures and the Weinstein Company's production, Southpaw. This movie came out when, Taylor? Sorry. I think it was like early 2010s.
2015.
Yeah, 15.
2015 it came out in. And this is our final episode. Make sure you guys stay tuned to the end
For this
for this particular series that we're doing, this series of older movies or movies that are not brand new. Make sure you guys stick to the end to hear our final rankings on all 4 movies. And without further ado, I'm gonna let Taylor tell you guys what the cast list is so we can get right into this episode.
So the star for Southpaw is Jake Gyllenhaal, who plays Billy Hope. His wife is Maureen Hope, played by Rachel McAdams. Then we had Titus Willis, nicknamed Tick Willis,
Tick Wills.
played by Forrest Whitaker. The daughter, Layla Hope, is played by Una Lawrence. His manager, Jordan Maines, played by 50 Cent.
Pity.
And then the big antagonist, Miguel Escobar, played by Miguel Gomez.
Nice. Yeah. So a lot of big names in this. We also the last one we covered had Forrest Whitaker in it too. It's pretty interesting how that we had 2 movies with Forrest Whitaker starring, but yeah. We're gonna talk about it in traditional fashion, ladies and gentlemen. Spoiler-free content. Zachy, let us know your spoiler-free thoughts on Southpaw.
Oh, before we begin,
Oh,
who has seen this movie before?
yeah.
I have seen this before.
I have never finished this movie before I watched it this time. I have started it before, and I have seen like a good portion of it. Got past like the big thing that happens in the beginning, but I never finished it because I just ran out of time whenever I was watching it, and I just never got back to it.
And then Connor, you said you have
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, okay, and then I have. So only Zach.
I'm the one who hasn't seen it.
Never watched it. Okay.
Oh wow. Okay, Zachy, what are your
Now go
spoiler-free thoughts?
I did enjoy the story a lot, actually.
Mm.
At least the whole fight through, how can I say it, depression he has. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed that part of the story. The actual rockiness, the fighting, I don't really care for, because Yoda can make so many Rocky movies and they're all the same. Sorry, no offense. It's come up stories.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest fan, but other than that, the story was really good with this whole coming over the tragic event that happens in his life.
Gotcha. All right, Taylor, what are your thoughts?
I love this movie when it came out. I still enjoy it a lot now. I do kind of agree with what he was saying I do think a lot of sports movies kind of have a very similar, like, general plot line, I guess. When you do it one time, you're good. It's still good. Like, this is a singular movie. I loved it. It's great.
You start getting into the franchises and the series.
Yeah.
That's which, like, so Rocky, like, sure, you can have sequels, but when you're at like
Rocky 6.
Yeah.
6, and then you got Creed, and like, nah,
That's a fair point.
I
That's
can't
a fair
hold on
point.
that long. But
Got you.
in its beginning, like when the first time you're telling it, it's almost always great. It's the same case here.
Gotcha. Connor, what about you, brother?
Um, yeah, I mean it's a good movie. Um, I wouldn't say it's my favorite boxing movie, um, for sure, but it's definitely one of the good ones.
Yeah. Okay. For myself, I really enjoy this movie. The boxing is kind of secondary to me in this movie. Obviously, the main story revolves around boxing, but I'm a huge fan of all of the character development that happens throughout this movie on various characters, and the amount of emotion that this movie is able to invoke for me is very high. I'll be a man and admit that I cried during this movie the first time I saw it. Not this time that I watched it for the channel, but the first time I saw the beginning portion, it got me. It was pretty heavy hitting, and we'll talk about it in the spoiler section, obviously. But I like this movie for all of the parts that are not boxing, really, like not watching boxing happen. Um, but boxing itself was all right. I agree with Connor. It's not my favorite boxing movie or my favorite fighting combat sport movie, but it's still I think a solid movie, and it's a great message. And like you said, it's a one off, right? So it's a good movie. I wouldn't say it's like S tier or anything, but it's a solid movie. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna dive into some scores now. Give this movie a score so that we can talk about the fun things that happen in it. Connor, what is your score for Southpaw?
I'm gonna give it like 7, 7 out of 10.
7.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hello. Okay.
nice. Zachy, what about you? What's your score for
Always.
Southpaw?
I'd give it a 7 as well.
7. Taylor?
I'm actually gonna give this a 9.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Sweet. I'm like in between a 7 and an 8 because it made me cry. I'll give it an 8. So I like the movie. It's solid. Um, Make sure you guys stay tuned to the end of the episode where you can find out where this movie ranks among the 4 that we've covered the past 4 weeks. We'll share that at the end of the video, ladies and gentlemen. So, without further ado, let's get into the nitty and gritty of this so we can talk about the good and bad things of this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to serve as your official.
Spoiler alert.
All right. I guess we should just start with the big thing.
I mean, it's the only
Right.
real thing in the movie that actually, to me, that thinks is the most important.
So, Billy Hope is a lightweight champion in boxing, and he has a very successful career. He's a come up from nothing guy, came up in the system, foster care, all that stuff. He has a wife that is played by Rachel McAdams, and they've built this empire, essentially this boxing empire. And after a fight, there's the next person that wants to fight him. They get into it. The guy that's trying to fight him, his name is Miguel Escobar, and he's a dick.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
He says
Some things like that's too far. You know, like when you there's a lot of things that you can say when you're trying to hype up a fight, right? There's a lot of things you can say, but once you start going after a person's like wife or kids or immediate family members, that's too far. So he said some stuff about Billy Hope's wife. Billy Hope went after him, and they were fighting, and in the scuffle, shots were fired, and Rachel McAdams' character, his wife, died. And for me personally, it is one of the greatest depictions of someone losing someone and somebody dying in somebody's arms that I've seen in a really long time, and it's kind of hard to think off the top of my head another one that's better than that one in that particular category. It's a really powerful and an emotional scene, and Billy and his wife, the things that they say and the emotions that they show are just really captivating, and that's what made me cry the first time I watched it. Am I the only one that cried? Am I the only,
Yeah, I didn't cry.
the soft man? No.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't cry. But I don't have a problem against
No,
it.
I love the
but
scene, but I didn't cry.
it was a really sad moment, and I enjoyed it. I have issues surrounding that scene.
Mm.
Like all fighters have security.
Sure.
Why did his security, one, they're not permitted, so that's why he got arrested and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
blah.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, there was no investigation or significant amount of investigation past somebody just like glancing at everybody that was like, why is the other guy not being persecuted?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just not pertinent to the story they were trying to tell. I do agree that like the Billy Hope security guy got shafted and it's fucked up, and the other dude should have been prosecuted for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe they did, but I think just within the context of the story, they just didn't. I don't know. They just didn't choose to portray it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, obviously, if they did do that, we wouldn't have the entire story. So I get that, but it's just something that was a little annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree with Taylor. For me, it was like super unrealistic how it was just like, and he's fighting for the revenge of his wife that nobody was ever found guilty for of who shot her. It's like, come on, that's
Yeah.
not.
Well,
nothing
that
would
too.
happen.
Like them constantly talking about that.
Yeah.
Like they legally probably aren't allowed to do that on
Yeah, that's
their
broadcast, whatever.
show. Yeah, broadcast.
Whatever.
Like for the announcer to be saying that constantly, like that. Considering
I see what you're saying.
considering how much things get scrutinized nowadays,
Yeah.
there's no way that something that extreme would be okay.
Yeah, they
Right.
can't not only not say that, but it's also unrealistic that there was no like
Arrest
or
made
like
or
no
prosecution.
Because the only things they
investigation.
say is they're like, "Oh, there was no evidence," but we don't like they didn't search anything.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't
what the
see
fuck
that.
are you talking
aspect
about?
of
There's no
the-
evidence. There's a bullet in somebody. That
Like,
like obviously
immediately.
there's
Well, not
fucking
that
evidence.
too.
Bullet in
There's
the-
a bullet
And the fact
casing
that, like-
somewhere on the ground here.
Like if you're, they're supposed to have security for one, right?
Yeah.
And they should be licensed and all of that
Yeah.
stuff because that's what they do in real life. Because that's their job. They
Yeah.
can't. You're not supposed to get in these fucking stupid like street fights because that's way different than professionally fighting,
Right.
and it's way more dangerous. And then on top of that, like there's so many legal issues, and then it's like, dude, not one person like knew how to do anything.
Or
Like
The
nobody
security-
or
responded.
was there to prevent
The
the,
entire
fight.
time.
Yeah, there was nobody holding Jake Gyllenhaal back like, no, man, you can't do this. You know what I mean? Or like, I'm your security guard. You can't, and then the other guy's security guard was like, oh,
Right, like that should be their
Yeah.
job, is to not only protect the wife, which the guy did fuck up, but also to prevent him from getting an altercation that he shouldn't be in.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is definitely how it happens in real life. There's definitely a plethora of security people that just make sure that this kind of stuff doesn't happen. But it does happen every once in a while. Conor McGregor was arrested for getting in a very similar kind of scuffle with Khabib Nurmagomedov, Eastern European last name.
You're making Nurmagomedov.
Sorry. Yeah, something like that.
Nurmagomedov.
Sure. He threw a fucking chair through his bus window, and they basically had a brawl in an alleyway. So it does happen
But
every
nobody
once
got
in a while.
shot.
Right, but nobody got shot. But I think the other contributing factor within the realm of this particular story, because obviously this story doesn't happen without like the overall movie doesn't happen without this
Yeah.
particular event happening, right? Like the movie pivots upon this particular scene happening. Um, but in addition to that, all of his like associates and like his crew members were all people that he brought up with him through the system. Like they're all friends and stuff from when he was in the system. So it's somewhat believable to me that all of his crew members wouldn't be fully licensed and knowledgeable of what to do in these kinds of situations because a lot of them uh, are just not just with him because like he's bringing them up, but like that's where they came from. It's not like he went out to a security firm and hired a bunch of security. You know what I mean? Like
Which
everybody,
he should
which he
do.
should have done.
Even
Right.
if he doesn't do it, his manager would do it
Yeah.
because it is
Hopefully.
beneficial for him to
Yeah.
do
Yeah,
it.
it was basically
Hopefully,
his own
yeah,
fault.
Hopefully
that,
that's how it was.
that
But
this tragic
Well, of
thing
course,
happened.
it's his own fault.
That's
well,
the
that
point.
yeah, I mean that's ultimately the big reveal, or not the big reveal, but like the big turning point in his recovery and stuff is getting him to realize that the other dude shot your wife and he should be held accountable, but you also got to realize that if you had just been the bigger person and walked away from the dude throwing insults at you, it would have never happened in the first place.
Yeah.
So that's like the real big overarching character development of Billy Hope, right? Is that he has to accept that he played a part in the death of his wife and that it wasn't just the other guy, the guy that shot her's fault.
Yeah.
You know, he played a part. So, and this is what I mean by like, I like all of these little intricate character developments with him, with his daughter, with Tick. The only like character that I can't stand and it was bugging me this time that I watched it was the freaking like social worker lady that was like working with the daughter.
No, just
Like she was annoying,
She's doing her
but she was
job.
doing her job. But the issue I had was at the end of the movie when they're like in the green room watching. The social worker is like there with the daughter and like cheering him on, and like she's his biggest fan. It's like, bro, like what are you talking about? Like, I don't know what kind of like off screen conversations you had with Billy Hope, but like it was not believable for me.
yeah, but there's a time to be professional and then there's a time for your personal stuff, right? You can separate the two.
Yeah, I think most people can. Yeah, I don't know if I can. But most people.
What do you guys think about his recovery journey? Not the training part, but the actual getting through the depression and all that. You think they did that well, or you think they could have done
Yeah,
better?
man. Depression is a
I mean, yeah, it was great. Everything
depression
with
is
Forrest
a
Whitaker.
fucking depression is a rough thing, man. Like real depression it's a rough thing. I mean, he had everything. He had a whole ass house, compound, pool, multiple cars, all the food, all the clothes, all the everything, and he was reduced down to 300 square feet of nothingness, right? As
because
he
of
called it.
himself.
Yeah.
Right. No, 100%. But the amount, the kind of depression that something like that produces is immense, and for a lot of people, it's too big to overcome. Like, there's a lot of people that go through, maybe not quite to the extent that he did, like, but there's a lot of people that go through things in their life that end up as depressed as he was, and unfortunately never recover.
So
So it's a great story of watching somebody struggle and learning how to overcome that depression that he had to go through.
that was my the favorite part of the movie.
Did you have issues
No,
with
I
it?
loved it. I thought
Oh, no,
that was my
your
favorite part of the
part?
movie. That's why I was
Okay.
wondering if you guys had any different opinions on it. I thought it was really good. I mean, I'm happy they focused more on him getting better with his daughter and like his anger issues over
Yeah.
him just training. Because I get it, you have to train for the fight, but like I don't really care about that. Don't get me wrong, that's just me.
Right.
I'd rather see him
So
fight, not fight, but fight in a way where he gets back his life, his family. because that's what should matter.
Yeah.
And he does that,
It's
which
all about
yeah,
family.
family.
This is the biggest thing that I have issues with when it comes to sports movies, and when it comes to sports movies about champions that fall and have to recover, right? Um, I always want to see who is the champion outside of the ring, right? Like or outside of the football field or the basketball court or whatever it is. He boxing was everything to him before. He had nothing else, and he was completely focused on boxing. And when he was reduced to nothing, when boxing was taken away from him, he couldn't even be a proper dad to his daughter, right? So, I I like that this story shone a light on what it means for him to learn how to become a functioning member of society first, and then bring the boxing into it afterwards. Because a lot of movies do this thing where the champion falls from grace, and then all it focuses on is the person training to get back to that glory level, right? And it doesn't really focus on like who the person is as a person outside of everything, because eventually at some point you're gonna stop playing, you're gonna stop boxing, you're gonna stop playing football, basketball, whatever it is. And if all you were was the person in the ring, then once you're done,
You're dead.
you're gonna fall right back down. You're gonna fall right back down to where you were in the slums. So yeah, the whole journey with him and Tick Wills and unfortunately Hoppy uh, was great. I loved it. Connor, what is your favorite boxing movie?
Cinderella Man.
Ooh,
Oh. Speaking of Cinderella Man, did you know Eminem was originally supposed to play Billy Hope? Yeah,
Really?
the production. Eminem
So
was originally
way.
supposed to play Billy Hope.
this movie, there was an offer extended, but like,
No.
because this movie is actually inspired
Yeah.
by Eminem.
Mm.
Like basically.
Oh yeah. I can see the correlation between his music career and
Yeah, so they just substituted with boxing
music and
instead of
boxing.
rapping.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be around his life.
Yeah, I just saw it now. That was,
And there was an offer that was given to Eminem, but he declined it because he said scheduling conflicts and stuff.
Cinderella Man. I'm trying to. I feel like I've seen it before.
It's an old.
But I'm trying
It's
to
an
remember.
old movie. But it's my favorite boxing movie because I think it does the outside of the boxing kind of thing the best that I've seen. It's set in the Great Depression.
Damn.
I'll pull it up. I don't know who.
I think I've seen it, but it's okay. I'm just curious because obviously the most well known is Rocky, right? Everybody loves Rocky, and Rocky's great. I love Rocky. One of the all time greats, but
it's got Russell Crowe in it.
My favorite.
Yeah, Russell Crowe.
My
Yes, I know it's a
favorite
big
combat sports. It's not specifically boxing. My favorite combat sports movie is Warrior.
Yeah.
You ever seen that with
Tom Hardy? Yeah.
And forget the other dude, the brother's name, the main character. But that
He is in one of the Terminator.
The best one is Real Steel. So you guys nothing on that.
Okay.
That movie is actually kind of
I
good.
do like
Real
that
Steel,
movie.
but
That's great.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
like
No,
that.
I do have to say
Visual
about
effects.
this movie that as much as I don't care for the boxing, I did like how they made the little comments during like the actual match, like "Well, he punches hard," or "I can't hit him." Like I like how they say that kind of stuff instead of just like going through the motion. You know what I mean?
That was true.
I did enjoy that
It's
about it.
more interesting to get
Like what they
the,
feel, what they
fighter's
think,
perspective.
not just constant
usually it's just like,
anger.
oh.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
they're always in the zone kind of thing for a lot of the
Usually, all we
movies.
hear is the corner talking
Yeah.
to him, right?
but when they
Right.
say stuff, I
But in
found
this
that's really
one,
cool.
they are talking to him, but it's like, bro, that guy fucking hit me real fucking hard. Like I don't
Yeah.
know if I can do this.
I
for
like
sure.
that was probably like the one of the things that separated this movie from the other fighting movies I saw, but not it doesn't elevate it that much, but I think it does improve it a lot compared to other ones.
Yeah.
This movie also does a really good job of showing the skill of boxing specifically, because a lot of boxing movies, they just throwing punches in there, but this movie does a good job of showing what real boxing combinations looks like and how to set your opponent up, how to
Yeah, I mean,
feint,
Jake
how to,
Gyllenhaal actually
head
trained
movement.
to be a boxer
Yeah,
for this
Yeah.
for a
movie.
while.
Oh, bro, let's not forget, dude. Jake Gyllenhaal is fucking
He was
ripped,
yoked.
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, he was shredded
Holy
in this
So
movie.
this
Him
is what he did
and
before he
Forrest
became
Whitaker
Mysterio.
like
But yeah.
actually trained together to
Yeah.
I love
For
the
real
fact
boxing.
that Forrest Whitaker, like you said, kind of elevated his actual a skill that he definitely needed of his increasing his defense because
Right.
he was all about the punches,
Right.
which a lot of them are.
Yeah.
Understandably
sure.
so. It's boxing, but you can't forget about defense. It's just as important as your offense.
So the
Yeah. I
timeline
agree.
is great.
And it was
Forrest
it was
Whitaker's
really cool to see.
Forrest
him
Whitaker's
teach him.
character development
Oh
was
yeah,
pretty
I like his
awesome.
character a lot.
Yeah,
It's so fine. It's such a
It's not.
it almost could be
Yeah.
missed. You could almost miss the development of his character because he just kind of seems like a guy that felt the pressure of training a world champ and caved to it. But in reality, like he had to let go essentially. He had to let go control over stuff like when Hoppy died, he blamed himself because he felt like he should have stepped in and been there for Hoppy, which I'm sure he could have helped, but it's not his fault that
Yeah.
Hoppy died. But he had to let go of control. He had to let Billy Hope survive with the skills that he taught him and be part of that. So
I feel like it was a good way for him to like kind of forgive himself in a way too
Yeah.
from his own career.
that
Yeah.
too, yeah. It comes full circle, right? Comes full circle of him. He couldn't be a champion, but he could help somebody else become a champion.
That's
And originally he was trying to help people become champions of men,
Yeah.
champions of their community, of their family. And when that didn't work, when that backfired on him momentarily, Billy was there to pull him out of that and show him like, okay, let's become a champ in the ring first, and then let's go help these kids and help these people. So,
Before I go, I do want
It's
to give
great.
credit to the daughter, Ona. She did very well in her acting. Like she played the daughter part really well. Lila, his daughter, she did really
Yeah.
well as a daughter. And I just want to point that out before I go
Yeah.
because I don't get child actors don't do that well. I'm not gonna say they're bad. There's a lot of good ones, but not often than not. Like in these kind of movies, they're not
There's-
really.
There's some bad ones.
There's a lot of bad ones.
Yeah,
I'm not saying.
I mean,
I don't want to say names, but I did enjoy her performance. I think she did really well, especially for.
No,
Yeah.
you're
She
right.
did.
I think
Yeah,
she
she
did
was
pretty
good.
solid. The scene of her telling him that she
Yeah,
hates
that
him
was
and she
beautiful,
doesn't want
She
anything
didn't
to do
want to
with
see him
is-
anymore.
It's heart wrenching, man. It's hard, especially as a father.
Yeah.
Like
That hurt me. I
that's
can't imagine.
something that you never want to hear your child say. So before you go though, we can kind of wrap up. Is there anything else that you, Connor, or Taylor wanted to talk about for this movie?
No,
No,
that's
that was about
I
it.
really
Yeah.
enjoy the movie.
Yeah, it's a solid movie.
Okay, so let's wrap up this episode with our final rankings for the 4 movies from the Democratic series. I can't believe we stuck with that name. but let's go through our final rankings. All right, just a quick reminder for everybody here and as well as those of you guys that are watching. The 4 movies were The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, The Nice Guys, How It Ends, and this movie, Southpaw. So we'll start with Connor. Connor, go ahead and give us your rankings starting from 4 to 1.
Okay. What?
Actually, you know what? Everybody will do 4, and then we'll go 3, and then 2, and then 1. So Connor, what's your fourth
Like last pick,
best movie or last pick?
How It Ends.
Bottom.
How It Ends. All right, Zachy.
How it ends.
I'm How It Ends as well. Taylor.
The Nice Guys.
Oh, come on. It wasn't that bad.
It's pretty bad.
It was not worse than How It Ends. No way. All right. Number
It was.
3.
There's no substance in it.
Number 3, Taylor. What is number 3 for you?
How it is.
Okay. For myself, it's How It Ends.
What?
Or sorry, what am I talking about? I don't know what I'm talking about. For myself, I think I'm gonna have to go. Oh man, I'm gonna say it's third best, but the Taking of Pelham 123 is third best for me, not second worst. All right, Zachy, what's your third movie?
I would say The Nice Guys.
The Nice Guys. Okay, Connor.
Southpaw.
Southpaw. Gotcha. All right, Connor. What is number 2 for you?
Taking of Pelham 123.
Okay, Zachy, number 2.
It would be Southpaw.
Oh, okay. For me, number 2 is Southpaw. Taylor.
Mine's just taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3.
Okay. And your number 1 choice, Taylor? The Nice Guys.
The Nice Guys.
Not the Nice Guys.
Taylor says Southpaw. For me, it's The Nice Guys. It was the most impressive movie for me.
That would
Zachy?
be Pelham, just for the fact that I actually got my interest piqued, and I liked it a lot.
All right. Connor?
Also the Nice Guys.
Yeah. 2 of us said The Nice Guys. I don't know. Ladies and
Imagine being
gentlemen,
wrong.
what would you rank them? What would you guys rank these 4 movies that we watched over the past 4 weeks? What would you guys rank them in order of least to best? Let us know down in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you guys. Also, let us know if you guys enjoyed this kind of thing that we did where we put out polls, ask you guys for your input, your feedback, let you guys kind of have a voice essentially in what we watch. Let us know if you guys like this kind of thing, because if you do, we'll definitely do more of it. But make sure you guys like this video. Please subscribe, comment, share with a friend. Continue to show us your love and support. We thank you all for it all. We appreciate you. Check out our social media as well as the other shows here on Anytime Media, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Love you guys. Kisses.